The Jrue Holiday game. All of my people that are consistent viewers, y'all know that earlier today on the podcast and even a couple days ago after the Game 4 recap, I talked about the importance of Jrue Holiday having one of those games for himself during the season and how the timing of it will be great if he can do it in Game 5 on the road in Phoenix after his team came back from an 0-2 deficit to retake all the momentum back in this series. And he delivered. He gave us the Jrue Holiday game that we've all been waiting for because we all knew it was coming. We know what Jrue Holiday is capable of. We know how important he is to the Milwaukee Bucks. And we know that some of the games he's had offensively isn't really him. And he delivered. One of the things I do want to say before we really dive in, and we will dive in, is how great and appreciative I am of you guys, my consistent viewers, even the new viewers, of tuning in and being consistent with me throughout the postseason with these recaps, because tonight was a very great night of not me just watching, but it felt like we all watched together tonight. I have a consistent, trait of themes that I go over each game that stand out to me that are important. You know what I mean? I look at the game different in some ways, and tonight I felt like we all watched it from those perspectives that I look at it, and these key themes that I like to go over game by game because they're important to me in the postseason and the finals. And in real time, it felt like we all watched. When big offensive rebounds happen for the Bucks, I got tweets from y'all saying, "Hey, the offensive rebounds." When Jrue Holiday was starting to get going and showing his ass, I got tweets from y'all. Here's the Jrue Holiday game. So it was real good to see us all watch together as a group and a community in real time these key specific things. So let's dive right into it. To start with the things for me, I want to start with the turnovers. For each team. This is a night where the Bucks lost the turnover battle. The Suns won with 8 turnovers to the Bucks 11 turnovers. Both teams had the same amount of offensive rebounds and turnovers. So the Bucks had 11 offensive rebounds and 11 turnovers. The Suns had 8 offensive rebounds and 8 turnovers. And they won They won a turnover battle. Did a very good job this game of protecting the basketball. The last game they had some trouble with that, and we all, we're kind of like, that's not really the Suns. Chris Paul was a little loose with the basketball. That's not ideal of him. We don't expect to see him do that again. Tonight, he bounced back. He only had 1 turnover, 21 and 11 assists. Good for him. And I think as a team, collectively, they did a really good job of protecting the basketball, which is why they did win the battle. But, again, like Game 4, they had a very costly turnover that kind of makes them winning the turnover battle irrelevant. And like in Game 4, it was with one of their best top players having the ball, which makes it so unfortunate for the Suns, because I know just how Chris Paul felt after Game 4. Devin Booker is feeling the same way. That possession is eating them away. You have a chance to take the lead in this game after coming back down from 10, recapturing all the momentum. All of these things have gone right for you. You've made timely buckets throughout the stretch of this fourth quarter, and everything is lining up. Giannis just missed 2 free throws. You're down 1. You get the rebound. Monty doesn't call a timeout because, again, all of the momentum is flowing. The crowd is going crazy. Everybody's looking. The stars are aligning. My brain is going, be legendary. Devin Booker, Mamba mentality. Something special is going to happen. And like Chris Paul at the end of Game 4, and the most crucial possession of the game, Devin Booker turned the ball over. He turned the ball over. And the common denominator between Chris Paul turning the ball over in the most important possession for the Suns in Game 4 and Devin Booker turning the ball over in the most important possession for them in Game 5, the one common denominator is Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday was a part of both of those plays in which the Suns' top player has the ball in the game-defining possession, the most important possession of the game, and they turn it over. Tonight's game, it meant a little more for me because not only did Jrue Holiday force a turnover and get the stop and now have the ball and regain possession, but it's what he did after. I feel like a lot of teams and a lot of players we've seen in the playoffs or in important games when they regain possession or they get that turnover, what happens is they start to play like scared basketball, which is like, now I want to just hold it because I want to stall the clock, and I don't want to play basketball. It just becomes a timing thing now, and it's no longer playing. We just want to waste the clock because we're kind of scared. Jrue Holiday didn't do that. And it spoke volumes to me. What he did showed a lot of confidence in himself, a lot of balls, a lot of cojones, and he showed a lot of confidence in his teammate Giannis Antetokounmpo. Instead of holding the ball, bringing it back out to stall, he threw the lob to Giannis. Giannis finished it. Giannis was fouled and put them up 3, and it put Giannis at the line to now make this game a 2-possession game, which we all know, even as fans, viewers, media, whatever, we all know the difference between going to the huddle with your coach drawing up a play and being down 1 possession versus going to the huddle with your coach drawing up a play and being down 2 possessions is day and night. It means everything in the world. And that's why that play was so big. It was humongous to me. It took out the wind from the crowd and all of the momentum and the cheering. Quieted them. It gave the Bucks confidence. It gave them a comfort to now have a 3-point lead with Giannis potentially going to the line and making a 2-possession game. Even if Giannis misses and the Suns get it, the worst that can happen is the Suns tying the game and we go to overtime where we have a chance to win it. That's the worst that can happen versus them only being down 1 and having a chance to take the lead and win the game. So that play was extremely big, and it did more than just the obvious of getting the stop and now gaining possession. But it's like, it means it took everything out of the Suns, in my opinion. And then after that play leads to the next category and the next thing that I like to talk about, which is the offensive rebounds. Because what happened is you foul Giannis on an and-1 dunk. You put him at the line. He has a chance to make it a 2-possession game. He misses. A 3rd consecutive free throw miss for Giannis. And what do the Bucks do? What they've done all series. They get an offensive rebound. So now again, instead of the Suns getting the ball and potentially being down 3 and potentially tying it up on the other end, no. The Bucks get offensive rebound. They put Chris Middleton at the line. He makes 1 of 2, and now it is a 2-possession game. And now the Suns are going back to the huddle with Monty Williams drawing up a play with them being down 4 instead of 3. And I'm telling you, that team went back to that huddle, and they were defeated. You're looking at the clock. It's only 11 to 10 seconds. The score, you're down 4. There is no 4-point play out there that's going to tie it up. There's no home run play. The crowd is not roaring anymore. It killed them. And that's where the Bucks have made their money in this series, and why they're now 1 game away of potentially being in the NBA Finals, is because they've had the most timely offensive rebounds in this series. Pat Connaughton had a big offensive rebound in this game. Like I said about Bobby Portis, he came in and gave them 3 rebounds. All of them were offensive rebounds. And he had 1 possession where he got 2 offensive rebounds off of his own misses. And it resulted ultimately in him having an and 1. That small play throughout the course of the game that looks very minuscule throughout the grand scheme of things. Then you look at the score and it ends in a 4-point game. 123 to 119. It shows you how important that Bobby Portis and 1 was off of those offensive rebounds. You take away that, and this game is completely different. That's why it's so much irony in those small plays being so little, because at the end of it, they turn out to be so big. Boy, and to build on Bobby Portis in the Bucks, Pat Connaughton, like I said, a big-time offensive rebound. He had 6 rebounds in this game with 14 points off the bench. Bobby Portis hit 2 threes and gave them 9 points with that and 1. Very, very big. They outscored the Suns 23 to 15 as far as bench points. And outside of the box score, Bobby Portis just brings a presence of rah-rah energy, especially when you have a situation like today where the Suns came out in the first quarter 32 to 16, and you just need some life. You need some confidence. You need something, some energy to wake your team up on the road, and that's what Bobby Portis brings them throughout certain stretches of the game, and that doesn't show up in the box score. And the Suns need somebody like that can step up, and at times when it's dead, when it's slow, when it's cold, some raw that can just awaken a team. And they don't really have that guy right now, especially off the bench. Cam Johnson isn't really that guy. Cam Payne, throughout certain stretches in the playoffs, has been that guy. I seen him be that guy in the Clippers series. I saw him be that guy in the Lakers series where he was kind of playing super, super crazy, getting and ones, hitting threes, and doing his little thing. He hasn't really had that type of impact or feel in this series yet, and they're going to need him or somebody. Torrey Craig, somebody's going to have to do something to awaken this team. Another thing that I got to go over that we always talk about here in the recaps is the free throws. The free throws. The Bucks, for them to be able to win this game with shooting 53% from the free throw line, 52.9 to be exact. We talk about it all the time. I don't need Giannis to be a 100% free throw shooter. That's not who he is. But Giannis cannot have games where he's missing 7, 8 free throws. And that's what he did tonight. Shot 36% from the free throw line, 4 of 11. We need him to cut those down to 3, 4, 5 at the most, but not 7 or 8. You know what I mean? You need to get as many of those points as you can at the line. 9 of 17 as a team. Jrue Holiday, no free throw attempts. Unacceptable. As good of a game he did play, I don't want to nitpick at him or anything, but he has to get to the free throw line. This is a thing for both teams. They have to get as many easy points as they can throughout the course of these games. It is so, so, so important. Even Chris Middleton. In the box score, it tells you that Chris Middleton had 3 free throw attempts, but those of us that really watched, we know throughout the real course of the game, he didn't have any free throw attempts. He had those late where the Suns have to now desperately foul free throw attempts, but throughout the real course of the game, he didn't get to the line, and we need him to get to the line. On the flip side, the Suns shot 90% from the free throw line. They only had 11 attempts, but going 10 of 11 for 90% is super great. My biggest thing with them, though, is out of 11 attempts that they did have, it only came from 2 players. Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton shot all of their free throws. Ayton went 6 of 6, and Book went 4 of 5 to go 10 of 11. So that means Chris Paul played 35 minutes and had 0 free throw attempts. He's too talented, and most importantly, he's too respected in his league for him not to be getting to the free throw line at least 4 times a game. It's unacceptable. Jay Crowder, 40 minutes. This is a guy who was involved in the trenches. He plays in the gritty parts of the game. He's physical, and he has no free throw attempts in 40 minutes. Not going to cut it. Mikal Bridges, 32 minutes played. Almost 33 minutes played. No free throw attempts. Cam Johnson, 22 minutes played. Cam Payne, almost 15 minutes played. No free throws. You cannot have a game in the NBA Finals where only 2 players get to the free throw line for you. It's not a recipe of winning. It's not a recipe of winning, and both teams are going to have to make sure that they emphasize getting as many opportunities at the free throw line as possible and taking full advantage, because it's so important in these postseason games to get to the free throw line. You want easy buckets. You do not want to have to depend on getting to or scoring in a half-court offense. It's too tough. You want as many easy buckets, so you don't want to have to rely on getting every single bucket down the stretch in the half-court offense, because it becomes very difficult. So to me, I think they need to continue to emphasize getting to their free throw line. As far as shooting threes, the Suns shot almost 70% from 3, which is normally outstanding and great. It was outstanding and great, but it's tough when you give up 50% from 3, especially to a team like the Bucks. Like, when the Bucks are shooting 50% from 3, man, it is tough to beat them because everything's open for Giannis. We know how dangerous it is when he has lanes and avenues to go downhill. And then now you're making the threes and he's kicking them out to people. He has some couple no-look looks. And one was to Bobby Portis in transition that Bobby Portis made. Those are so important. So it's a tough loss for the Suns. This is a game where you got 2 threes from Jay Crowder, and like I say, whenever he's giving you 2 or 3, that should be something that is signaling a win. Mikal Bridges, 3 of 3 from 3. You want to win on those type of moments. When you shoot almost 70% from 3, those are games that you feel like you have to win. You shoot 70% from 3, 90% from the free throw line, even though it was only between 2 players, and you won the turnover battle. Those are all recipes of winning. So to lose this one really, really, really hurts the Suns. I know it does, especially at home, to regain all the momentum back in the series. And now your back is against the wall and you have to win out. It's tough, but it is a good win for the Suns. 32, 9, and 6 for Giannis. Jrue Holiday 27 and 13, 3 steals. We know that last steal was super important. Chris Middleton 29, 7 and 5. Chris Middleton again, just like last game, except the roles were reversed. Instead of being down in that 9-point window, they were up in that 10-point window in the fourth quarter. And when the Suns made their runs and was trying to come back and chip away, it felt like Chris Middleton, like last game, had an answer for them down the stretch, which is why I refer to him as their number one option in crunch time, because he seems to always be there and be available to be a magician and kind of make something out of nothing. And that's when you need it the most, especially in playoff basketball. When the team is guarding you really well for 20 seconds and you can't really get into your stuff, or you get, disrupted from your play or your set, Chris Middleton is there to create something out of nothing with 6-7 seconds left on the shot clock. And it means everything. It means everything to stop the bleeding, to stop the momentum, or to create momentum, and create a run for your team when you're down. And he's been able to answer that call for them throughout this series. Going forward, I think the Suns, they have to find a neutralizer for the offensive glass. They cannot continue to give up this amount of offensive rebounds and these important offensive rebounds. They either have to neutralize it to eliminate the Bucks from doing that, or they have to start getting their own important offensive rebounds so they can have second and third opportunities to score for themselves. Devin Booker's bounced back from his 10-point performance. Last game, in Game 4, he did everything he could to carry them into the finish line. Going into the fourth quarter with 38 points, the only player in double figures at that point in Game 4 at Milwaukee. Tonight having 40 points. Chris Paul, 21 and 11, only one turnover. He bounced back, had a couple good moments, clutch buckets, had a 3, had a mid-range shot over Giannis Antetokounmpo on a baseline, and he had a strong take to the rim in like one of the last late possessions of the game, in which I felt was an and one. They didn't call it. It gave the Bucks still a 1-point lead, but if that was an and one, it gives him a chance to tie it, and that could change the game. And I did feel like that was an and one. And Aiden had 20 and 10 with 2 blocks, which are good counting numbers and stats from a box score. But for a guy like me that's sitting there and watching, I'm not feeling his presence as much as I have in previous series or in previous games. It doesn't feel like he had 20 and 10. It doesn't feel like a strong, loud, rah-rah performance. And he hasn't felt like that all series. So I need Aiden to not blow me away with box score numbers, but to come with energy, impactful numbers, and impactful presence to make a statement, because they need it. They need it. Outside of him, the Suns don't really have any size, which is why the Bucks are really killing them on offensive glass. Frank Kaminsky, when he played, when Aiden got in foul trouble, not playable. Sarge is down. They don't really have any size. They don't have any size, so they need Aiden to get up, play big, play strong, play physical, play loud, and play with a presence that's energetic, because they're going to need it. Somebody energy-wise, emotionally, is going to have to match the Bucks emotionally, especially in Game 6, because it's going to be in Milwaukee. And you won't have your home crowd behind you hyping you up, so they're going to have to do it themselves. I do believe Devin Booker is going to come to play. He's shown me no reason not to believe that. I do think Chris Paul is going to come to play. And Aiden is really going to have to step up emotionally for them. And the others are going to have to try to replicate what they did tonight. Like I said, Mikal Bridges 3 for 3. That's good. That's great. Jay Crowder giving you the start that he had with those 8 points out of the gate, the 2 threes and a dunk. Super important. Cam Johnson played solid. You protected the ball. You shot well from the free throw line. Others got to get to that free throw line, and you have to, most importantly, neutralize the Bucks on offensive glass, match their intensity, and then match them emotionally. And I think you can get out of Milwaukee and potentially force a Game 7, which is what all of us fans are ultimately wishing for. As far as the Bucks, they just got to keep doing what they're doing. They're doing a good job as a team defensively. Led by Jrue Holiday. They're doing a good job of kind of playing off of each other. You have stretches where Giannis is doing his thing, especially like today. Felt like Middleton was cold, and a lot of it was Jrue. Then it became like Giannis throughout the course in these little patches, and then down the stretch, you have Chris Middleton sealing you home, and then in between, you have the others like Pat Connaughton with some threes here, Portis with some threes here, offensive rebound here, or defensive play right here. And it's spread across in a team effort. And as long as they're doing that, I think they're giving themselves a chance to win. When you also consider the fact that they shot 50% from three, they have to be better at the free throw line as far as attempts and percentages. And you want to continue to try to win that turnover battle. It's going to be interesting. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm hoping for a Game 7 because this is one of the most even and unpredictable finals, like I keep saying, that we've gotten. So I'm trying to get as much of this basketball as we can before it wraps up. But as always, this is NBA Weekly. I am Pee Wee the Plug, 1/4 through the wire, and I am out. Peace.